All right. That should be, and I got to crank this. That should be a lot better. That should be a lot better. Testing. Okay. Sorry about this, y'all. I was literally saying this. This, uh, this content is in its first, or at least the beginning of its iteration. It's going to be a little messy at first, and uh, and it's going to. Oh my goodness. Wow. Even with the double, I think it's because the input capture is wrong. Give me one moment. Um, yeah, it's wrong. So anyway, really, it's still not working. I'll just manually click it. There needs to be a noise gate on this as well. It's been a moment since I've done this sort of a thing. Uh, there we go. Okay, that should be better. So there's going to be hiccups and there's going to be issues, and the information's still going to be good, but there's just going to be there's definitely room for improvement to how it's going to be presented in the future. So I ask for your patience, and I'm just giving you that warning, just in case you want to skip this for the first few times and watch it later down the road. All right. Okay. Um. All right. I'm taking notes on this. Um. Because I need to for the just for the sake of getting better. So I will. There we go. Okay. Now my auto jump cuts work. Here we go. It takes some time to check That real quick. That light being blown out bothers the crap out of me. Give me one moment. There we go. Still a little blown out, isn't it? Alright, we'll deal with it. That's better though. Alright. Just give me a moment to check chat. This camera is supposed to be a nice camera, but it's blowing out. I can't really replace it just yet, but that'll happen. Replace it. Just okay, we're good. Sweet deal. All right. This is how you know I know what I'm talking about, is because I have Einstein hair. All right. The way that the vocal folds come together and the thickness in which they come together is caused by the what's called the Bernoulli effect. Now, if I blow through these two pieces of paper, we would think that they would blow apart, but actually the opposite is true. Right? They're coming together. That's the Bernoulli effect. When I push the pressure in between the cards through, the pressure on the outside of the cards is greater than it is on the inside. This is how the vocal folds work. So when we're trying to do something that's pianissimo, we want thin folds, which means we need a lot of control of the breath, which is difficult as you get up. So we're going to work with aspirate graduals. That's how we're going to solve this problem. Now we're going to go back and we're going to talk about how the aspirate gradual and the volume, that V, how that's working from that anatomical. I think it's that's the right word. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we're gonna look at Audacity again, and we're gonna get into that. Okay. I'm working with a new situation here. It's been a long time since I've made content, so all the stuff I moved 2 places, so all the stuff is different. Yada yada yada. Excuse. All right. Thanks for your patience, y'all. Okay. There we go. Let's zoom that in a bit more so it's not so grainy. I had to reformat my computer as well, so we're changing a lot here. All right. So what determines how exact your aspirate graduals are is going to be this V right here. If I zoom out, we're going to see that that V is not very gradual. In fact, there's a very strong line in the beginning. That we have to work on, we have to change. And to do that, we're going to do it in the lower register. We're going to talk about the higher register, but the reason why we're going to work on this in the lower register, and I say this as someone, I used to take the stance that if I can't do it in the high register, then I can't do it properly. And that is not true. It's not a bad thing to have a metric, but the metric of can I sing it higher is a problem because we need to work on specific things. And the problem with trying to do it higher, at least in this piece and in classical music, or things that are derived from classical music, which Les Mis is, trying to think of oh my god, trying to think of what the piece of software is that I use. I'm gonna have to go into program files. I have a software that I use for anatomy. 7. Nope. I forget the name of it. It's wonderful. It's the anatomy. Okay. It's the anatomy. That's what we're gonna do. There we go. This is wonderful. It's a wonderful piece of software. There we go. It changes scene by scene whether or not I include the audio source. So thank you for your patience, everybody. Looks like we're just not gonna get there we go. Okay. Now hopefully I have it saved. I don't think I do, which sucks. Um, we don't need the skeletal. No. Muscular. There we go. And do we have the cartilage? Let's get the cartilage in for everything. Like just the cartilages, and I don't need the nasal. Okay, that'll work for now. I'm very upset that they removed the ability to save. But it looks like it's not so hard to make the adjustments like it was. This used to be a Blender plugin kind of file, and it was so laggy. So it didn't work well. We don't care about you, sternocleidomastoids. We're gonna get rid of the teeth. Oh, okay, never mind, it's not teeth. All right. That hasn't updated as an issue. Let's look at this. Okay, that's a problem. This is why I used display capture for a long time. There we go. This right here, right there, this is what we call the thyroid cartilage. This large shield-looking thing, that's the thyroid cartilage. The muscle right there, that's called the cricothyroid muscle. And what that muscle does is when you contract it, it makes the thyroid cartilage tilt. This muscle right here and the one opposite of it, those are the vocal folds. Usually when we look at the vocal folds, they're it's the top-down view, and we look at them as if they were flat. They're not flat, they're vertical. So the card metaphor is pretty accurate. But these are the vocal folds. Notice how they're connected to the thyroid cartilage. So when the thyroid cartilage tilts, when this tilts towards the cricoid cartilage, excuse me, which is this little thing right here. So when they come together like that, what happens is the folds stretch. So there's an added difficulty. If you're stretching out your vocal folds, all of a sudden getting an aspirate gradual becomes more challenging because they're already kind of together a little bit. And if we're just working on something, it really helps to go and isolate the thing that we're working on. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to do aspirate gradual in the low end. These buttons don't work the way they used to. Is it? We have time. We might end up doing a part 2. There we go. We might end up doing a part 2 for this. Does it have a roll commentary? Is that okay? Good. Okay. Let's get the beginning of that. The beginning of that. There we go. There we go. It's more control. I want you to notice I'm taking a couple tries at this. What ideally we do is that we blow air just a little bit. In this first waveform, my vocal folds are together without there being a hiss. I've trained that. It's not always necessarily a good thing, but usually you want to start with your folds closed. This is not an aspirate gradual. This is more of an aspirate gradual. What that is there's a hiss a little bit at first. That's the sound of the vocal folds letting air through, is a little hiss, and then they slowly come together. So the way we're going to work with that is we're going to start with an H sound. It's too zoomed in. Again, we don't want that flat line. There's doing it, then there's doing it well, and then there's doing it better than well. So what we're looking for here is not an answer. What we're looking for here is a longer V. That's going to help us get our vocal folds to the right thickness in order to sing this. Now I'm making life harder for myself a little bit here. When you tilt your thyroid cartilage, you have vibrato. So the low end has thicker folds. And so I'm challenge mode right here. I have a tilted thyroid cartilage and I'm in the low end. But this is how I practice because I've been doing this for 15 years. Uh, uh, it's so hard for me to do it straight tone. I've just everything in opera has vibrato pretty much. So I need to work on this. If I show this to a student, I'm not going to be able to do it, so I have to work on it. We always have to practice. Okay, so let's say we're just going to assume that you're there. We're going to talk about step 2 now. Singing, like most skills, isn't about a bunch of tricks. It's about fundamentals and moving those fundamentals together. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add and we're going to look for that V. Again, the longer the V, the more elegant and the better the asper gradual. Now we're going to move it higher. Again, this is about skills intersecting. You can tell I'm a little bit more practiced in this thing. It's also technically easier. When we sing on the low end, we have thicker folds. There is more breath inherently for the folds to come together. So by doing it in the low end, you're actually having challenge mode. See? Boom. That is called practicing. What's the first note? I think it's like C. Oh my God. This is so illegal. Not what I'm doing, but someone has a literal book. Does this have the music in it? Yeah, okay, this does. At the end of the day, I dreamed a dream. Oh, am I? 24601. Saw on a cloud, don't even remember it. Master at the house. Dippa dippa dang. Dippa 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 dang dang dung. Stars, yeah. There, out in the darkness. That was actually, I played Javert when I didn't really know how to sing up high. Do you hear the people sing? In my life. Eponine stuff. I think that's Eponine, right? Heart Full of Love. The duet. Just looking for a little fall of rain. Oh, that's with Eponine. Drink with me. Bring him home. Oops. Wrong title of the song. God on high. I was right at C. Oh! Oh! Started on the right note. Damn, I'm good. Hello, attempts at perfect pitch and relative pitch memory. I'm so good. Give myself a high five. Bam! So, we're starting on a C because I read the sheet music. Now, because we're doing it higher, we're actually going to start high. Right? Let's look at the aspirate gradual there. I need to have two different instances for... Okay. Like I said, y'all, I'm still getting this together. So here's the trick. We're actually going to start high and then we're going to go down. On high, God on high. When we do it higher, it's easier. So what we do is we start at that higher note and then we go down. And doing that allows us an easier time going down. We know what we need on the high end. And because we know what we need on the high end, we can bring that down. God on high, hear my prayer in my need. You have always been there. When we go on a phrase, that wasn't recording. Now I want you to see something. I'm going to start very light, but as I go down, I'll add that weight, and I'll tell you why when we see it. God on high, hear my prayer in my need. You have always been there. Now you can see it's getting a little louder. How am I doing that? Why am I doing that? Because the phrase is going down, predictably. So because it's going down and I don't have to go up higher, I can add weight. The vocal folds can be thicker. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Let's get to the hard part of the tune. You know, at first I was like, am I doing myself a disservice by narrating all this? Is this really the right key? Does it just goes to F? I guess so. I thought it started higher. I thought that F was an A. Let me double check this. Because I don't know if that's correct. Hear my prayer. Oh, Colm Wilkinson. We're going with that. We're going with that. We're going to mute desktop audio so we don't get banned from YouTube, and we're going to listen to Colm Wilkinson for a second. That's an A. Yeah. So in the actual version, Colm Wilkinson and other Jean Valjeans will sing an A natural at the end, and they'll start at a higher key. I want you to start lower. And I want you to start lower for the same reasons that we've discussed. Let's find the note he starts with. Oh, desktop audio is muted. Okay. All right. Now, technically, if I really wanted this to work, I would be like, how Colm Wilkinson sings God on High, or Hear My Prayer. But I'm not doing it. God on high, hear my prayer in my need. You have always been there. Did I fuck that one up? Hold on. I might have noise gated that. I didn't put it through Ableton, so there's no noise cancellation. The whole thing has hiss in it. Ugh. Okay, like I said, it's gonna be rough around the edges. Bring him home. Ah, he just does it in straight falsetto, but he contracts the areopaglottic sphincter, so there's ring to it. Bring him home. Ah, I've trained falsetto out of my voice, so I actually have to. What I have to do is I have to start from a big place, and then do that. A piece of music I'm familiar with that goes and does that is um, yeah. Je vais, hélas, mourir. Bring. No, that's the wrong one. What does he start? Him. Oh, bring. Right? Yeah. Bring him home. Ah. We're not going to use that take. This is why we're doing it. This is good practice for me, too. Bring him home. A little crack at the end there is air blowing the folds open. That little crack in that is the folds are opening. They're going into falsetto from a closed position because I'm so used to not using falsetto. Seven seconds. I hate when OBS does this. It just stops working in terms of recording and versus not recording. And I don't know how to stop that from happening. So I need to bring up another instance of OBS. Because. Well, it's better than stopping the stream. I mean, it worked for a long time, so. All right. What that falsetto or what that crack was I was having this very tenuous vocal closure, and then the second I mess up, we hear that pop. I have trained falsetto out of my voice. So, because, a lot of people are, oh, falsetto is bad. You need it here. So, if you falsetto this note, I want you to be proud of it. Countertenors are falsettists, and they require masterful breath control. When you sing in falsetto, those folds are open, air is seeping through. And so you need better breath control to sing in falsetto in this piece. Bring him home. It's too much. Bring him home. And to illustrate that point, I'm going to actually do it not in falsetto. Bring him home. It's not the same thing. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. Great, it happened with this one as well. Well, at least we can kill this one and it. I don't know what happens with OBS. I really don't. I love you too, Casey. All right. Word that again. There we go. That's ridiculously beautiful. And watch how he. Come on. That's beautiful. I want you to notice how he uses that H. That is called the secret sauce. All right. Then we're going to go. There's a deer in my backyard, like 6. Dang. That's fun, though. It's fun when deer. I mean, as long as they're not like polluting your yard. I think deer are really, you know, when I when I was younger, we used to live in the woods, and that would be that was kind of nice to do that. So pretty. Did I have desktop muted? I had desktop muted, so none of that worked. I have to remember that the second instance of OBS is the one that's not broken. That's ridiculously beautiful. I want you to see how he starts that A natural. We're going to find it. That. That is the secret sauce that we will discuss or have discussed, depending on what part of the video you're in. I'm gonna do that over again. No, fuck it. We're just gonna keep it. And then kangaroos are deer. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautifully natural. It's wonderful. I need to bring things to a hotkey. Because, or at least if I change scene, hotkey pressed. So that the different instances of OBS match up. Because I want you to see on stream what is happening in the other instance of OBS. So Um, why do I have LEDs? They look nice when they're not blown out, and that's the camera that's blown them out. I'll figure it out. They look a lot better if I bring up the camera angle a little bit, because the camera's actually too close. There we go. Like that looks nicer, right? Because you see the kind of this blending of the wall. Taste is odd. I watch a lot of gamer content, and every gamers use LED. Let me move that blue to a little forward so it doesn't blow out. It's still blowing out on the stuffed animal. Okay. Not fixed, but a little bit better. Except then the light's not even on the unicorn. Ideal. At least my head's there. LEDs are they're widespread use for lighting a backdrop. The the audio was set up wrong. I usually have really crisp audio, but this is yeah. Right now we have a noise gate that will cut off everything, and yeah, the compression's all off. I forgot to connect my audio computer to my. I have a double setup for audio and otherwise, so that's why that's a mess. I'm working on it, and it'll be better, but it'll be better next stream. As long as they don't line. No. They're backdrop. It makes a more compelling image. I gotta bring this freaking. This is too up now. That's better. It makes a more compelling image. If it's just white in the background, it's kind of boring. Again, I borrow a lot of content from gamers. I need to make my bed more often. Boop. Boop. There, that looks nicer. Star Wars. I'm a nerd. Okay, I'm gonna have to kill the stream and prepare for the next stream. So I will see y'all later. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. It'll be better next time.